final game for the evening, Niffelheim. Like, um, a note about the spelling here. This is not actually how you spell Niflheim in the actual Norse conceptualization. They probably did that for copyright reasons.
Yeah, that's probably my best guess.
Yeah, we were talking about because it's the actual Niflheim of Norse mythology is spelled Niflheim, or Niflheimr in the Old Norse. And I suppose we should address the name itself because that does it is a central facet of the game. Niflheim is basically the Norse underworld. It's not one-to-one with the Greek underworld or anything like that.
Yeah, hell with one L is usually in or part of Niflheim. Niflheim is one of the two oldest realms. It's the realm of mists and gray and general cold shittiness.
Yeah. It's in some accounts it's the last of the 9 worlds. It's under the world tree, Yggdrasil, and it's got the well. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce that. Well, it's like Hervgelmir.
Yeah. The point is, you are a dead Viking, so it makes sense for you to be there.
Yeah. This is where the restless souls of the dead go, and that is what you are in this game. You are trying to ascend to Valhalla, if I'm recalling correctly.
At least, yeah.
You're trying to get out of the land. No, you're trying to ascend to Asgard.
Valhalla is a building in Asgard, so.
Yeah. And you're trying to placate the death priests in order to do that. Mind you, none of this is really apparent outside of the opening narration, because as you might see from the trailer, this is a side-scrolling game, but it's not a platformer or anything like that. It is a side-scrolling survival crafting game.
That's a weird combination.
I suppose that's what gives it its unique flavor, even more so than the Norse mythology, because pretty sure there's at least a few survival crafting games that have rated the Vikings and all of that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
But having this survival crafting game being done in a side scroller, I haven't seen that particular combination before. Once again,
usually if you're doing survival stuff, they try to give you as many dimensions as they can.
Right. But here, you are restricted to right and left, and going into buildings and caves and shit. It's kind of like if the survival crafting genre existed on the Super NES or something like that. Though its art style is in no way retro. It's definitely got a modern aesthetic, and doesn't look too out of place out of the survival crafting aesthetic, quite frankly. Very gloomy, as you'd expect from a game called Niflheim. Anyway, before we continue, I do have to preface the rest of this review with a caveat. We only got one code for this. That is why you can see the trailer footage instead of the gameplay footage. And that is actually a bit of an issue because we did not. Multiplayer is a significant portion of this game. In fact, there's a whole diplomacy system around that aspect. I was not able to test that because I did not have the team here alongside my travels into Niflheim, and I do not deal with random strangers, especially for game reviews. That's just policy, because random strangers are random, and
It can affect your. It can also affect your view on the game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So anything in regards to the multiplayer portion is actually outside of the scope of this review. If the developers hear this and want to send us more codes, I suppose we can do a Niffelheim multiplayer review supplication. We have done that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or at the very least, we can do a multiplayer night. We have a specific thing for that. But the evaluation that is going to proceed is as a single player experience. And overall, yeah, this is a pretty good game. Not gonna lie. Probably the best game I played for review this week. That being said, the flaws that I encountered in the game are more endemic of the genre than anything else. And that's specifically the survival crafting genre. To predicate what I'm talking about, this game has some timed events. Sometimes it's usually dealing with large and not so large skeletons attacking your base. Almost like tower defense in that regard. But because this is a survival crafting game, everything you do needs ingredients, needs crafting. And I had survived long enough to get up to this big Death Priest event. And I was shut down because I did not have the one fucking ingredient I needed to do the entire chain with. I needed some iron ore, went down to the mines. I found a lot of other shit, but I didn't get deep enough, I think, to get the iron ore. And that was holding everything up, and I had only 20 minutes to do this. Like I said, that is a frustration I have with the entire genre, not just specifically to Niffelheim. It is something that is contained within Niffelheim, but I have played many survival crafting games where I've gotten frustrated because I cannot find the one fucking ingredient I need to progress with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, yeah, a bit of a rant there, but it's fucking annoying. And then some, especially when you are dealing with time pressure. This isn't Minecraft. You have unlimited time outside of monster encounters or whatnot. You are judged how long you survive. Also worth noting, this game has other annoyances that I have found in the survival crafting genre. That is to say, everything has a durability meter. And all durability meters in games, they fucking suck. I know that durability meters are, for realism, but I haven't ever encountered a remotely realistic durability meter. And like I said, this is nothing on Niffelheim itself. It's just, you can find this even in Breath of the Wild, for example.
It's usually to try to make it harder to survive.
Yeah. It's just no fucking pickaxe breaks after a specific amount of uses. Shit. It's it's realistic along an accelerated timeline is what I'm getting at here. And this game does not have a repair feature as far as I could see. But you can generate multiple tools, and it's got the typical progression of it's got different metals of different qualities will produce better tools. And it's also got a shop. That's where I got the really good tools, because once again, to unlock the crafting stations takes a significant amount of resources. But if you've got a lot of skeletons to deal with, it's recommended that you go to the store and buy a titanium axe. I'm not even joking about that. If you
Isn't titanium actually not a very good material for blades? Whatever.
Yeah, it's like
I know I'm bringing realism into a thing that just isn't really concerned with that.
I couldn't say, but as far as the game is concerned, titanium is one of the better materials. It goes what they call crude axes, or whatever, like swords, although in that case it's rusty swords. It's like you got your base level, you got your copper stuff, then you got your iron, it goes up to titanium, and so it's like, and then they get creative, like craftsmen. It suddenly stops being about the material, and it's more about how well it's crafted. Point is, there are various layers of material that works well, for your tools and shit. And it's not the only thing you have to deal with. Once again, because this is a survival crafting game, you do have to pay attention to meters of health, and you've got 2 meters. You've got your health meter and you've got your hunger meter. I am pleased to report that this is probably the best hunger meter I have ever encountered in a survival crafting game. That does depend on the warrior you pick. You've got like 4 classes. I would recommend picking someone with low metabolism. Low metabolism means that food lasts longer. It's literal metabolizing. That's why I usually pick the Valkyrie. Like, her metabolism level was such where I barely had to pay attention to the food. And cooking food is its own elaborate process. Making potions is that as well. Making tools and making weapons are 2 separate branches. And those are your 4 major crafting branches, with the additional of your base. Get enough of the proper stuff, and you can upgrade your base. Almost like a tower defense game, actually, now that I think about it. You can upgrade the actual base, you can get walls, and arrows. Because, once again, there are these timed events, and you might not always be around the base to defend the base from attackers. You could be in town doing something, or more properly, you can be in one of the dungeons. Going to the dungeons is how you get the pieces of MacGuffin in order to open the portal. And there are quite a lot of them. I think I got about 2 pieces before I had to deal with a monster raid. Now, once again, I didn't quite get arrows to my base because, that's the thing. At one point I didn't have enough feathers. At another point I didn't have enough stone. That's just the nature of survival crafting games.
Mm-hmm.
Basically all of my down points towards Niffelheim comes more outside of the timed events, comes more from the genre of survival crafting. These are most things that I have found in every survival crafting game I've ever fucking played. So it's not it's a knock on the genre, not the game specifically. Though the game does have these things. And once again, my frustration towards not having the proper ingredients did lead me to stop playing it, which is usually how I go with survival crafting games. It's like you do need some patience to play these kind of games. They are really made for a long stretch. Maybe this game not as long because it's got timers and stuff in it, and it's got an actual goal. But it's still there. outside of understanding all of the controls and stuff, it's really simple. Once again, it's a side scroller. It's like it's easily transplantable to a controller, which is important because the reason we are reviewing this game now, the PC version came out in late 2018, but it's also forthcoming to consoles. And so we're actually reviewing this ahead of the console versions, which I imagine won't be too different, in terms of graphical stylings or musical. There's nothing here that can't be done on even like the Nintendo Switch. And not sure if it's going to have like cross. Oh wait, actually, this game is going to have cross-platform multiplayer. Not sure if that's going to extend towards consoles because this game is on the PC, Windows, and Mac right now, and
Well, it's always nice when you can get it.
Yeah, it's like given the way things, I would expect the Microsoft and Nintendo versions of this to have cross-platform play, and shouldn't make too much of a difference. Now, pricing structures. This is actually where things get interesting. On the Steam page itself, you've got the base price is $20. But we've got other options. We've got the Niffelheim and soundtrack bundle. It's got the OST. The OST is okay. It's kind of ambient. Not amazing, but nothing distracting either, which I guess is its purpose. I mean, personally, I wouldn't buy the OST outside, but given the prices here, it's $4.99 alone, or if you get the bundle, it's $21.23. There's another bundle here. There is the 2 from 1 bundle, which includes the Tiny Bang story. I have not played that game. I do have it, but here's the thing. I've got nearly 1,900 games in my Steam library. Not even joking about that. So I've had this game for years, and I've never touched it just because, I have a lot of games. Anyway, this bundle clocks in at $17.48. If you get the soundtrack edition, you get a 15% discount of the total price there, but you've also got the discount of 2 games for less than the price of at least Niffelheim. But is that the best bundle? The answer may be no, because now we've got to step outside the Steam page itself and go to the website, because they've got a standard edition, and these are Steam keys. It's from the key generation. They've got a 4-pack edition. Remember those? Those used to be until Steam changed what's it, and they stopped offering those. But I'm like, Niffelheim does have a 4-pack edition, clocking in at $59.99, which is the price, $20 for each. It's like, I'm not sure how the whole. It's like basically, you get your friend. You would get your friends to, I guess, give you.
You said it was 59, right?
Yeah, it is $59.99.
So you're getting one free.
Yeah, which is actually a discount. Like, so it's actually kind of hard to say which is the best purchase. But I suppose that is what you're aiming to do with this game. If you're gonna have friends, if you're gonna do this multiplayer, obviously go with the 4-pack edition. You're literally getting one of those free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as single player goes, I would actually go for the 2 for 1 from 1 bundle, because you're getting an extra game. Granted, the game is $4.99. It is $5, but that's still less than the price of both.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you can also go the soundtrack bundle as well. That would be the least of my choices here. But the one I would obviously not recommend is actually purchasing the game vanilla. There are just objectively better options here.
Mm-hmm.
As far as whether the game is worth the purchase in and of itself, at $20 or 20-ish, definitely. Especially if you like survival crafting and are looking for a newish spin on that, even if it may be limiting in dimensions, it's still a solid outing. And I guess if I had to give a score to it, 8 out of 10. Like, it's a really good game. It's just, it's got problems that are endemic to the genre.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Niffelheim's fault. That's just survival crafting in a nutshell. You know, it's designed to be kind of tough, so you have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. I would ask for any additional commentary, but once again, this is I was the only one who played this. You know, if the developer wishes us to cover the multiplayer, we are going to need more codes. It would be at least another code, preferably 3. So there are 4 of us here. Like, I already have one of these, so it'd be 3. Just attaching that last notation here. Anyway, so that'll about do it for the review session this week. Right then, so the week ahead. Coming up on Tuesday, we do actually have a Tuesday interview to cover this week. We'll be having Nick Clarkson of Merge Games. They are a publisher of various sorts. Like, we are going to be talking a lot about Vaporium. Because that is getting, or I think that actually got its console. I'm trying to think if it got its console release last week or if it's getting it this week. That's the latest game they're putting out. They put out a whole bunch of stuff, so it's probably going to be a whole bunch of surface stuff. But they've got a lot of games. Like they handle Frostpunk and so on and so forth. On Wednesday, April 17th, we'll be welcoming our good friend John Pickett of Manga Gamer back. Notation about this show: this interview will probably be on a bit of a delay in terms of getting started from our usual start time. That John has a thing to do, and he might not be back in time to start at like 9:30 Eastern. I'm like, we don't know how long of a delay it might be. It might be 15 minutes. It might be a half an hour. Just, it was either that or this interview got delayed till June. Because we are, our current schedule is substantially filled to June.
Mm-hmm.
This is not including like cancellations or reworkings or anything like that. Like, but so that is the plan for this week. And until Tuesday, I shall wish you good gaming.